Good morning, everybody. Today I was supposed to get together with Angie, but she woke up with a bad headache this morning. I'm glad I checked my messages just before I left. Like I was literally out the door with my phone and my computer, but I checked it because I was going to check the time if she had left yet, and she had messaged me about an hour earlier saying that she was not feeling well. Hey, Columbia fan, how's it going? I'm just making my coffee right now. So, I know I'm a bit late than what I was going to say I was going to do, but I was going to be going to the meet with Angie, but she is not feeling well. She has a headache, so. And it's freaking cold out there right now, too, so I understand her not wanting to. Okay, I think I have every single cupboard door open here. Oh my god, I just looked, I don't even notice it, but even okay, my coffee is getting really cold here. Oh my god, it's minus 11 degrees Celsius today. Um, it was minus 9 yesterday, but it felt like minus 18 with the wind chill because it was windy. Today it doesn't seem to be very windy, but it's freezing cold to the point my garage door, I just checked because I thought, oh, I see light at the top of my garage door. Maybe it's not fully closed. I went to try and open it. Apparently, I think my child yesterday or the day before tried to go through the garage door into the house. And it's frozen because it's now frozen with a tiny bit crack open at the top because I can't unfreeze it. I have to try and wait till it gets to hopefully above zero and get some salt and stuff around there so I can open my garage door. Good thing I don't actually use it for a car to drive or anything like that. And it's kind of early for it to be frozen. Usually that's after a big snowfall. We only had a few centimeters of, maybe 3 centimeters of snow. So it's not even that much. But my garage door is frozen shut. And hopefully, because I just tried to open it again and it's not working. So, got my coffee. Use hand sanitizer, lower the freezing point of the ice. Okay. I'll have to go and see if I have enough hand sanitizer. I know that there's something you could put alcohol. I just saw something for my steps. I should put that there. There. Where's my cord? I'm gonna plug my phone in. There it is. Erg. I think it was alcohol, Dawn soap, and water to pour, warm water to pour on your steps to make it not freeze. Hey CR, how's it going? Hey BJ Hunting. Sorry, moving the camera around. You were traveling with me. Oops. Okay, I swear. Okay, I think two of my USB ports on my computer. I should have known to do that from last time. Shorts out my computer on the other side. I'm just gonna put you down over here. There you go. And tilt this down so you don't see that. Hey everybody. Because my USB port's on the side. This happened before, and shorted. It was like, ah. So I have to, I think, wait. Now I'm just trying to get my cord for my USB port, just so I don't run out of power. Yes, coffee. So I was supposed to hook up with Angie today, but she messaged me earlier this morning. I just didn't get it until I was about to leave at 8. That she had a headache. She woke up with a nasty headache, migraine, and she didn't feel up to it. So we're going to hopefully plan to get together next Monday. and see how that works. Now if I go and open my computer. Oh, there's just too much. So, 40 days till Christmas. Okay, I really like Christmas. It stresses me out, but I really like Christmas. Like just the feelings of Christmas. Oh, I think hopefully I didn't wreck my computer. But I like Christmas. I like just the feelings of Christmas and the the way that people tend to be, or they try to tend to be nicer at Christmas and be more kind. Yep, 48 days till New Year's. Is there? Because I saw, because I forward. So I follow Santa Claus on Twitter. Do you guys follow Santa Claus on Twitter? I do. So so he had posted 40 days till Christmas. So I'm like, yay. Um. Oh, and our sunshine has arrived. Hi, Jen. Your sunshine has arrived. Ugh. We, yeah, we have some sun today, but it's freaking cold. My garage door is frozen shut. I think it was a Columbia fan that just mentioned about putting hand sanitizer there. I think that might be, yes. Well, it is cold. It's minus 11 today with a high of minus 3. Oh, yes, I know. Time flies. My daughter just yesterday got her high school grad hoodie she had ordered. We given it to her for Christmas. Well, she got it early, but we said this is part of Christmas. Driving, but hey, Farina, keep your eyes on the road. um, please don't get distracted and get into an accident. I would hate to feel guilty for that. You know, being Canadian and all. We're sorry for everything. Oh, you are. Oh, I'm the sunshine. Awesome, thank you. Um, oh, you're so sweet. Hey, Amanda. So, as I was saying earlier, I was supposed to get together with Angie. She messaged me this morning. I didn't get, like, she messaged me early this morning, but I didn't get till I was just leaving. Like, I had packed up. I was already outside and started walking towards the bus, and I checked my messages to see if she had left yet, because it was like 8:30, and she had messaged me that she had a headache and she was not going to get together. So I'm like, no problem. So we're going to try and get together Monday. But I'm glad I didn't make it all the way there, because that would have been unfortunate. I need to check my messages early in the morning. I don't know. My phone wasn't sending me notifications with the messages, so I have to always go into. I think I have to go into that app and set up the notifications. I'm awful. I get notifications for everything else, so why not? Hey, Brad, how's it going? Comment on one of your videos because I thought you guys were going live. Yes, so I'm going live right now myself, um, which sort of, I make do with what I got, right? So it's not quite the plan, but in the grand scheme of things, it'll probably work because I have to do some stuff around the house, and I have something this afternoon. As long as that doesn't cancel. So what's the weather where you are, Howie? And CR, how's it going there? What's the weather there? Because hey Google, what's the weather?
Right now in Ottawa, it's -8 and partly cloudy. Today, it'll be partly cloudy with a forecasted high of -3 and a low of -8.
Oh, -8. I thought it was 11. So it's only -8. Yesterday was -9 or 10, but it felt like -18 because it was really windy. It was cold. It was. I was not happy because it is dark out. Rain, mix of sun and cloud, flurry, snow in that order. Wow. Yes. Well, that's Canada for you. We can have 3 or 4 different weather formats all in one day. Hey Nintendo, how's it going? Warm here, so then warm rain. Well, he must be way up in the mountains then, because he's in BC too. So, as I was saying before, 40 days until Christmas. Has anybody started their Christmas shopping? I've started. Well, I bought a few things in February, March when it was marked down stuff from Christmas. There were some little gift sets that I got for like cheap. One thing my kids found, so I gave it to them early. It was just chapsticks. Like it was the EOS um, chapsticks, but they were like the Christmas flavors. And I got three sets, one for me, one for my two kids. And there was three in the package. They were normally like $12 or $13, and then was marked down and marked down and marked down. I ended up getting them for $2.50 for all three. Well, they're like $4, at least $4 each. And I had hid them away, but in my cubby hole by my front entrance in my drawer. My daughter saw them when she was getting something else. So she's like, "Oh, these." I'm like, "Okay, you could have them early." So they had them this summer. So I gotta be better at hiding crap so that nobody can find things. So the problem is I hide things where I put them away quickly, and then sometimes I forget. As I found something I had hidden in my closet many, 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 many years ago. A brand new Dora ABC 123 game. It's still in the shrink wrap. I never gave it to my kids because, well, I forgot where it was. And now my daughter's graduating this year, and my other one's in grade 11. So I think they know their ABCs and 1, 2, 3s. I don't, but they think for Christmas we make something and give what we make. Awesome. Well, that's what I do with my. So about 7 or 8 years ago. Hey, you're a little too. Um, 7 or 8 years ago, my in-laws, well, probably maybe about 10 years ago now. My in-laws used to we used to give gifts for every, like we just do one gift, and not an expensive gift. With my we get something for my in-laws, get something for my sister-in-law and stuff like that. But we stopped doing that. My sister-in-law, my in-laws are not gift people. I'm a gift person. I love giving gifts. I love receiving gifts. It doesn't matter monetary amounts or anything. It's just the thought that somebody thought about me because of just my childhood. Not a lot. That's why I like Christmas, is because Christmas is about thinking about other people, and it's not just like a birthday or whatever. Like it's for everybody. And it was one time a year my parents uh, tried to behave for my benefit. You know, um, and thought about me and thought about just the spirit of Christmas, right? It was not like Christmas was awesome because I mean a few times when I lived with my mom, I remember getting the food bank, the Christmas hamper, or getting toys from Toy Mountain here when I was a kid, because we didn't have that extra money. My mom still bought stuff for me, but she had started like always in January buying a few things when it's on sale or whatever, candies after Halloween and stuff like that. But she was always working 2 or 3 jobs, and sometimes she had to access those things. And so that's why now, as an adult, I try and give back with those things because I know it. I enjoyed it. I didn't really um, see it as a bad thing. Actually, it was a good thing. So joy is the gift of thumbs up. By the way, it says yes, yes, CR. So so now as an adult, I try and like I volunteer with our local food cupboard, and then actually this year we're sponsor our family. We decide well because I know this lady from the food cupboard, and I asked, can I specifically sponsor this person? Like I I'm going to buy her stuff, because she's just a sweet little old lady, and she doesn't have any family here, and she's always when she's asking for stuff like baking stuff if they have any, or because she likes to bake and that. So that's why I'm gonna get her a bunch of things and for the hamper, and then I'm gonna something separate. Like I'm going to send her a card from me because she knows who I am from. I'm also going to send her a card for Christmas from me, but separate. So it'll be different. And I'm going to send her because she doesn't drive either. I'm going to see if I can ask hubby about Amazon about sending cat food and cat litter to her, like delivered to her door. Then that way she doesn't have to pick it up because I know she has a cat. Because she always asks if there's any cat food. Because our food cupboard sometimes gets cat food or dog food donated. So if it's donated, people can ask for it. They won't purchase it, but you know, it's nice. Hey, Iron Fire Horse, good morning. And I see everybody saying hello. Yeah, as I was saying, I did not get together with Angie this morning because she has a headache. So I'm going to hopefully get together with her Monday, same time, 9:30 ish. But um, yeah, no. So I don't know if anybody uses Twitter. I follow Santa on Twitter, and he said it was 40 days till Christmas. So yes, I know. Where's Puppy's Breath? I saw her a couple, like, well, also I haven't been on, so she's also in California, so it's probably still early for her. Um, and now I can't turn my camera. I except for last night. You did awesome. Where donate only pet food. Pets are important for disabled folk. Exactly. So this is like saying I know that I know the single lady. Like we have lots of chats and stuff. Um, and I know that she has a pet. So and she doesn't ask for much, and she like for example, like I know this lady, like for the we have a Thanksgiving hamper. So the food cupboard, our local food cupboard, does an Easter hamper, a Thanksgiving hamper, a Christmas hamper, as well as back to school supplies. So you can sign up for those things, um, and they don't count as part of your one of your 30 days. So you can access the food cupboard every 30 days. Some and also sometimes during an emergency situation, like if it's before the 30 days, you can call and if it's not like every time you get it early, um, it's fine. Like because sometimes these things happen. Like for example, people who were on EI or on maternity leave this week, they normally got their check on Tuesday, but since Monday was a holiday, a government holiday, their check was delayed. And we had a couple of people going, "Oh no, I don't know where my check is," and stuff like that. And so they contacted. Oh yeah, she's the fires. She okay? Hey Eastad, how's it going? Hey Puppy's Breath, we were just worried about you because I'm like, oh yeah, she's in California, and I'm like, oh yes, the fires. There's a campfire fire. Waiting to get out to the store for smoke to clear a little. I'm fine. Okay, 200 miles away from fire. Just about. Oh, hopefully, um, can you get those masks that might help? Because I know in BC, um, Howie had a bunch of the fires there this summer. Great steam last night. Well, Puppy's Breath, I've been missing you, and I was really actually worried. Been hearing about California. I don't know where you are in California, and basically up here, all we hear and see is basically the state of California is in fire. So that's scary. You can only use food bank 4 times a year. Ouch. So our food bank you can use once every 30 days. Other food banks they have different rules, but I think it's about once a month. And some food banks are only because depending on where you can only use the one that's in your area where you live. So you can't go to multiple food banks. There are 2 or 3 different food banks that are non-area conforming, but you only get a small amount of food. Like for example, if you are Muslim, the Muslim Association has a Muslim food bank, so anywhere in the area can access that, but you only get a small amount. So that's where you would get the halal type meats and stuff. our food bank, if meat is donated that's halal, like from the store, like we get when the meat is marked down, if it's not sold, that gets frozen and donated. So if stuff that's halal, we have a freezer just for that, so people who are Muslim can get that. But if it's not there, we don't go and purchase meat. I have masks and lots of air purifiers. Awesome. That's very scary. Yeah, it is very scary and devastating. In the body of south of water, campfires up north. Okay. So you're in the body of water south of the campfires. Ouch. Iran was once a month. That's good. It closed when I quit. No one wanted to run it. So yeah, that's the thing. So like our current food cupboard. Oh, it's run by volunteers. There's a board, but nobody is paid on the board. There's two paid staff that do the content, but they're paid. It's not um, full time hours. So and they're the ones that are. But we get some grants from the Canada food cupboards and some from the government. But 99% of our funding is from volunteers. And if we get donations of money, $1 could buy about $4 of food. The way that it works. Well, this is the thing. Like, um, like people, like I've volunteered all my life. Some of my jobs have been paid. Like I've had jobs, but I've always volunteered ever since I was a kid. Um, and ever since I've been home with the kids, I've always volunteered. When my kids were in school, I volunteered at the school. My kids were in scouting, I volunteered there. Now my kids are in high school, they don't need my volunteer. I volunteer at our church, and I volunteer at the food cupboard because food is real. Food insecurity is really important to me because I know I've felt food insecurity, which I didn't realize at the time that I felt it when I was a kid. I mean, I that's why I have issues with food. That's why my cupboards are never bare. Um, that's why my fridge is never bare because my mom has had an empty cupboard. Like I've had ketchup sandwiches for school. I didn't realize that was not normal to have ketchup sandwiches, you know? And uh, so that is why I try and help people. I try and give stuff for the food bank, food, money, whatever, um, of my time. Because I don't necessarily have an exorbitant amount of money flying around. Like, the money could be used to help get us out of debt and help pay for schooling for the kids and stuff like that. But I know that there's people out there that they're worried about food on their table. I was only paid employee at the coordinator family. All right, yes, Iron, you are awesome. And so, uh, that is why I try and help. And that is also why I buy like if you look at my grocery hauls, I shop every 2 weeks, but I buy at least 3 weeks of food. So there's always food. So and it's always in my mind. What if my husband loses his job? We live paycheck to paycheck. We have a tiny bit of savings. I mean, we do have a line of credit that we can access, but that's not money. That's getting into debt more. My hubby used to go days without eating. His dad is a Vietnam vet and had a lot of issues. Ah, yes. See, I never. So that was the thing. I never went without eating. But I do remember my mom making food. Okay, my mom was not a good cook, for one. She couldn't cook worth shit. So there was lots of craft dinner, hamburger helper, shepherd's pie, meatloaf that was dry, and stuff like that. So there were lots of like tuna. Um, but she would always feed me first, like serve me first, and be still working in the kitchen. I would eat my, and she would ask if I wanted seconds, and then sometimes I would not. I noticed that she wouldn't eat, or her plate was like um, a side plate instead of my plate, which was like a dinner plate. And I didn't notice that as a kid. I mean, as a kid, you don't notice these things. But as I got older and I looked, and it didn't like she didn't lose weight or anything like that because the food that you get from the food banks and the things that you can afford are high in carbs and are not necessarily that healthy, right? So there was not a lot of fresh fruit or vegetables. Lots of things were in cans or boxes. And he said when some people, well, exactly, and you don't know when your next meal is coming from. We used to, we went a couple times at Christmas time to um a local restaurant in the area downtown in Westboro. Um, it was a diner, so it was like an Elvis sighting diner. Once we went there at Christmas time. It was just before Christmas for their Thanksgiving, not Thanksgiving, their Christmas dinner. Because yes, we were going to get a hamper for Christmas, but we wanted the socialization too, and it was a very eye-opening experience. Like I didn't know, like we just said we're going to go there, and we had a hot meal, and we were served with respect and compassion, like we were paying customers. We didn't, so people could don't like we. I think my mom did donate like a couple bucks or whatever, but that's all we had, you know. Um, like you gave what you could, and she would never try and do if she didn't have to, like, you know. And it was just like one of those experiences, like you saw families, like you, me, everybody, like, you know. It wasn't just the homeless people that you see on the streets. It was people dressed in clothes, clean, and that just couldn't afford to feed their families at home or to have a kind of special meal, and wanted the, or people that were lonely. There was a lot of seniors that were by themselves, and they just wanted to be around other people. And it was just such a eye-opening experience that it really touched me. And I got 6 years did till I couldn't do it anymore. Live paycheck to paycheck anymore. We live, well, exactly. We live direct deposit to direct deposit. Yeah, we don't see a paycheck. And see, my husband works for the federal government, and with, if you've heard anything in the news about the Phoenix system that they put in that has been messing up a lot of people's checks, he sometimes he's acting as in a boss position, and so his pay fluctuates for like a week or 3 days acting. So, but he doesn't know because he's on salary how that works, and he doesn't want to go and question it to have them check on it. So he's just been taking notes of when he's been acting so that he can go back once it's fixed to go back into it, because he's heard of other people questioning, oh, they didn't get paid for their vacation time or whatever, and then it messed up the system and they didn't get paid the next time, and it took like a month. Yes, this is why I'm good at cooking, because I've been cooking since I was 7, since we got, so yeah. So for me, my mom broke her leg. This is how I remember things of events, right? So my mom slipped off a bus from Quebec into Ontario. She slipped on the bus step. She broke her leg. The bus driver was starting to trying to take off with her still kind of on the step. Like I was behind her. She went first. She ended up suing the bus company because they didn't put salt in she slipped on the step onto the ice, and she broke her leg in 3 places. And so we got some money from that. When we got money from that, we ended up paying off our credit cards. We bought a microwave, and we bought a new couch, and we bought a bus tour to the Maritimes. Like we did a little. So that was the things we paid off credit cards. That was the only time we ever did a vacation. My mom and I ever did a vacation. But I remember once we got our microwave that um, we uh, I started cooking because my mom didn't trust me with the stove. But then once I started looking at the microwave cookbook, so she got me a microwave cookbook. We uh, we started. I started using the stove too, and then I looked at the joy of cooking and the Canadian Family Cookbook or something like that. I can't remember what it's called. $8, you got a ton of good food. Awesome. Do you have an instant pot iron fired horse or just a crock pot? I loved my crock pot until I got my instant pot. Now I have not used, honest to God, not used my crock pot since I got my instant pot. Hey, Two Family Homestead, good morning. I'm just catching up on the chat here. Um, so yeah, I was just talking about just my life experiences of like with food insecurity and my mom and stuff like that, and now I try and give back um, with what we can because I'm always afraid because seeing it as a child, I know I don't ever want my kids to have that feeling. Like when I moved out on my own, of my roommates, I always made sure that there was food. Like the first thing I got, like I got my check from work, I paid my rent, and I got food because everything else I can go do without, you know. And my friends would sometimes by the end of the month that I roommate with would run out of food and not have any money because they went partying or whatever. Had the book of the joy of sex. I think my mom had that too. My mom was a very liberated woman, but I don't know. I'm sure she dated after my dad. Like my dad and my mom split when I was 6, and I'm pretty sure she dated after my dad, but I never saw any of her boyfriends. My dad, on the other hand, had a new girl. Like he was never single. My dad, actually, he was never single. So, like with my mom, he was previously married to another lady that was American. He's from Bahamas, so he was previously married to another lady from who was American, who was like 10 years older than him. They were in love, but then she didn't tell him she didn't want to have kids, and he wanted to have kids. So when he met my mom, who was down on vacation and was down for the summer, and then she ended up, staying there. Um, they fell in love, and he was getting a divorce. He was already separated from his first wife, and he was getting a divorce. They had me. They came up here. They got married. All that jazz. Dang, did that book have recipes? My friends bought it when I was 16 and then we were 15. I so my mom when she was still alive. So she when she turned when she turned 40, I was 14. We went to Lone Star, which is Texas Roadhouse, and they served tortillas and salsa. Her and her lady friends were all there celebrating her birthday, and all the bartenders had names like Stallion and Tex Mex or So ours was Stallion. That's all I remember. Stallion, and he was a young guy. And my mom, said to him, "Nice buns," and he winked at her. Like it was very, you know, the opposite to how you see guys talking to girl waitresses and stuff. It was hilarious. And then when I was 18, so she was like 47. She had a Fantasia party, invited me. I was like 20, 19, 20, so I was legal, and invited our neighbors in the building. So our neighbor, one across the street was 80, and the other one was 60, and then her other 40-year-old friends. It was hilarious. 80-year-old at a Fantasia party, which is like toys and books and edible, hand cream and oils and stuff. It was very interesting. Been single and no dating for over 20 years. How this chat's going now. Yes, we go from squirrel, um, that's the ADHD, from helping one another to um, being sexually liberated, I guess is the word. Edible underwear. Yes. So that was the thing. So we had so this was like those house parties. You do these games with a bunch of ladies. Like I'm 19, only teenager there. we had an 80-year-old widow who had been a widow for 30 some odd years who was having a blast. So there was powder, like there was this gold powder, it smelled like honey, like it was made with honey and stuff like that. But it's also good for like for if you're sweaty and stuff. I don't know. There was like lots of edible things, and there was lots of very phallic um, cookies and Jello molds, cookie cutters, Jello molds, all that interesting stuff. Food, yes. Not married, but have a bed bug. I'm sorry. I guess I started that with my yes, your book joke. Homesteading. Well, it's all natural, right? It's all it's all things that you have to do. So there's what was it, the laws? What was the scientist guy, psychology guy? The pyramid of needs. Um, Kama Sutra honey dust. That was the thing. Great for that was the powder. It was Kama Sutra honey dust. That was it because it was honey and I have it here. I have a book on massage and I bought the book on massage and um I bought some just really nice scented bubble bath. I was yeah that so but the massage book was also more than just back massages. Use for my daughter. Powder at a party. I've heard of. No, no, not that type of powder. There was no. My mom was a recovering alcoholic, so there was no. She quit. Actually, she was the only one that actually quit drinking and stayed it. So she didn't do. Well, both my parents were alcoholics. My dad did some drugs. My mom did a tiny bit, but not enough to real like she did it when my dad did it type thing. My dad was more drinking too, but he did some pot and hash and all that wonderful stuff of the 70s. 14, yeah, yeah. But they both, my mom quit when I was 9. My dad quit when I was about 12. That's what they call it. No, no, it's a powder that you get at Fantasia parties, which is basically it's toy game clothing line like lingerie and all that stuff. I have not been to one since. I have changed over years and cannot find your address or email. May I have it again, please? Oh yes, also Iron Fire Horse. Send me an email. My email address is at the bottom. I'd really like to have your um, email address. Well, yes, it was, and it's usually women that go, but men can go too. Like whoever invites whoever. But my mom's friend had one where some of the husbands went, and it was kind of interesting because at first they're all like shocked that the women were all like being all liberated, let's say, and they were all like, shy. But then when they do the games or whatever, like there's just some like get to know you type games, or they do the let's see this thing and they pass around some toys or some lingerie to see and it's like and supposedly the products that's there like the lingerie like that I saw it wasn't itchy scratchy, like it was really made for you to actually wear and not just put on so it can be taken off. But it was um it's just you know I'm okay with it, but I'm just not that into that type of stuff. I'm not. I'm also very naive. A lot of things that come up, like so. I think that the kids' generation, like my kids' generation, is much more knowledgeable about a lot of stuff. Like my generation at school and stuff, we were just being knowledgeable of a lot of the LGBTQ stuff, and that was okay. It was not like well, my parents' generation, it was all like you don't talk about that, right? I'm watching YouTube. Even on our live streams, which one of us do you think would be this bold? hmm. I think. Well, actually, you're both kind of bold, depending. I think it's Sherry for me, because you're popping in. Combination mode. Is she talking about that? Your TF. Well, no, it's not. It's we're not talking about anything that I'm not. We're not talking about anything I wouldn't talk necessarily to my kids about. Actually, I talk to my kids a lot more about everything. Well, I purposely okay. It's share. That's what I purposely talk to my kids about everything so I can prepare the like everything that I know. And if they ask me questions I don't necessarily know the answer, I'll Google it and I'll ask. Actually, my husband knows a lot more about that stuff. Um, but I, what did Iron Horse say that couldn't? What did she say that was funny? Oh, God, see, I'm back. Had a phone call. Okay, I don't know what was funny. Iron Horse, what did you say that was funny that made her spit her water out? Well, bye, BJ. Have a great day. Okay, let me find a pen so I can write that down. Let me find a pen that I can write stuff down on an envelope because that's, um. But yeah, no, but I think the kids these days are just well, they're the first I think generation that knows that it's okay to be different. And I tell my kids like I will always love you no matter what. Um, they could be a criminal and go to jail. I'll still visit and I'll still love them. I won't be happy, but I would still love them. And that's the thing is that I think that's the problem is that kids these days they're the first generation that can really um, be who they are, and and the whole gender thing, gender nonconformity or whatever. Like I've always felt like for myself, I would not necessarily transition to a boy, but I've always felt that inside I'm more in touch with my male side than my female side. Okay, but I'm completely female, looking. But my husband on the other side is very in touch with his female side. That's why we complement each other. Like I'm very dense. Okay, like you have to hit me over the head with a 2x4. I don't take subtlety very well. And sarcasm, I have to ask, are you being sarcastic or are you being true? Maybe just come here. um, but I've always been a tomboy. I'm not a girly girl, but that doesn't mean, like, if I was a child now, I would know I could kind of be in between if I wanted to. Not that I feel that way. I feel completely as a woman, but I do have more male emotions or tendencies because I think that's the way I was. And you said he doesn't talk to me anyways. I have my oldest daughter doesn't talk to me. She talks to daddy. My youngest one will talk to me, but we're too much alike sometimes, and we all argue. Not if the conservatives. Doesn't matter if the conservatives. Uh, that's 4 years, and even then, I you could still be. Oh, I'm totally a dude. I hate drama. I don't like dresses. I sleep with my hands in my pants like Alpine. Exactly. So that's the thing. But that's the thing. Like when we were kids, oh, we were tomboy. We're like my kids. I tell them, and my kids are perfectly like they've told me of friends that are either gay, bi, or transgender or gender neutral or whatever. And I just go, okay, if they've changed names or whatever, just tell me what to call them. Okay? I don't care. Like, you could be, whatever. Same with religion. You could be whatever. The only religion I don't like, well, A, I don't want you in a cult of some sort, or a Satanist. I'm sorry. Any of the other ones, like, I'm a Christian, but I also believe you as a person has a choice to make whatever decisions you want. And choices are fluid. And same and well, that's I think why we get along well. Like, I don't deal well with drama. When there's drama, I just want to smack them. Like, I'm like, I don't want drama. For myself, not having pain bodies make my life a great adventure because try all foods and say hello to anyone and I love. Exactly. Exactly. I love everyone. So this is the, like, from my understanding. I mean, this is not, I'm not an authority on anything. This is just how I make sense of the world. Okay? So, like, in the Bible it says, like, has the 10 commandments or whatever, but also in the Bible it says to love your God and to love your neighbor as yourself. Okay? So the most important thing is to love. So if you love your neighbor as yourself, you will not commit adultery. You will not commit murder. You will not commit, stealing. You will not commit jealous, because you're loving the person. It doesn't say to love your neighbor that you agree with. It says to love your neighbor. So your neighbor is the next person beside you, neighbor is the next country beside you, your neighbor is anybody on this earth. So it's just to love, to treat them with respect so they can treat you with respect, right? And that's the way I believe. And I think that's the way Jesus and God portrayed it. There's just some people that tend to take the words out of context or to make it work for their platform, you know? And I don't care. Do you really have to love my neighbor? Even yes, okay, I have a neighbor that I don't necessarily like either. So my old neighbor I didn't like. I have a neighbor I'm not too fond of. Um, but that's okay. I still say hi. I still love them. I still pray for them. You know. I and same with your neighbor is also your political, your municipality political, your whatever. So it's your neighbor's also your enemy. So you should love your enemies. It also says that too. So if you pray for them, like, if you do not agree with your current head of state or current political party or whatever, you can still pray and ask for them to be guided into the right way, and you know uh, that there will be people in their lives to help them make good decisions. That doesn't always seem to work because, I mean, I've been looking at the news and the news doesn't always seem to make a lot of sense, but you can still do that. Any of my neighbors, well, I don't talk to anyone and I don't chat on YouTube. Well, you that's still, so you could be a recluse and you can live on your own, and that's fine. Like, I'm an introvert and an extrovert at the same time. Like, I have a bunch of friends. Actually, I make a lot of friends of introverts, so it's really hard to get together, but I do much better in small groups. But going out to big groups scares the crap out of me. Doing this scares the crap out of me, but I'm getting better at doing this. I hate answering the phone. But when I work for the food cupboard, I have no problem answering the phone there because I know that they're calling for that. So I don't like calling people, like making an appointment. I don't like calling. I don't like ordering food. I have anxiety. I don't like answering the door unless I know somebody's coming. Get in line, Aaron, because I have a. Oh, so okay, you're being sarcastic. Okay, see, there you go. I don't understand. So as I try and take people, I take so just with me, I take people's word as it is. So that's why sometimes it's hard with me with friends, when they say something but they don't really mean it. So, like, if I have friends that say, "Oh, we should get together for coffee sometime." Okay, let's get together for coffee sometime. Let's look at our schedules because my schedule is fairly open. It's flexible. Other people's schedules, I know that they work and I know that they have kids. I know they have kids in different programs. Their schedule might be tighter. But some people say, "Oh, let's get together sometime," or, oh, but they don't really mean it. Well, if I say something like that, I actually mean it. And I get kind of upset, or I get hurt. I guess hurt is the word, when people are just saying that to just be nice. Be one room in the back room. Well, exactly. Exactly, a group of people. So we went to my friend's birthday party. She turned 80 in October. And what's interesting was she had family and friends that were as young as like 6, up to 90 something, right? So of the people that so it's not just all 80-year-old people or people just from church or whatever. I sat in a chair and I talked to whoever came by and talked to me, but I didn't really go and mingle the room. I went and got some food and I talked to whoever was kind of near me that I knew. And somebody else who was new came in and said hi to me, and I said how, we shared how we knew her, and it was just neat. But I'm not a social butterfly. They're all dead. That's well, Iron Horn, Fire Horse, you're my friend. I want you to send me an email. I wrote down your email address. I hope I got it right, and I'm gonna send you a Christmas card because I think you need it. Okay. Have to slip out. Gonna stay care. Okay, well, CR, thanks for popping by. I love that you pop in and say hi whenever you see me on. Mwah! So if I can get to Canada, this thing's for coffee or tea. For sure. So I'm in Kanata, which is the western suburb of Ottawa, Ontario. So if you make it to Ottawa, see, I don't drive. So if you make it to Ottawa at some point, I can meet up with you by bus. I will have lunch. We'll have coffee, tea. We'll go. Tell me what type of food. We have a really nice. Because I know that you're Jewish, Sherry, correct? We do have a nice um deli called, I think it's Nate's Deli downtown, as well as Dunn's, which has a smokehouse. It's the same as the one that's in Montreal. Montreal smoked meat restaurant. They have the best kosher pickles. And I'll give you some of my kosher pickles if there's any left when you come. They're really, really, really sour. Well, my in-laws are actually, they're going to St. Pete's, Florida. I hate crowds, but I need to get a phone on Black Friday. I'm borrowing my mom's walker and my cane. Okay. Have you checked out the phones from Loblaws, the PC mobile ones? The prices when I was looking, like I just walked by them was it last week I did groceries? I saw the prices didn't look that bad. I could talk to a rock. It would be so easy to pick up the phone and have the neighbor over a barrel, but I have a soul. I don't want my soul to be polluted. True. Does anyone have some snow videos? Not yet, but I will. The canes for beating back. Awesome human. I love her so very much. Yes, snow is great. I love watching. Well, I will take some more videos when the next time it snows. I'll take a bunch of pictures. Yes, I love. So I have wonderful homemade kosher pickles, super sour. Abby and I love them. Rowan's not too fond of them. She prefers the dill pickles that you can get in the store. Hubby likes them, but again, you can only have like one. They're quite sour, and they're super good. Florida, my daughter lives down in Florida. For some reason, she doesn't want any of this cold crap. They're down in St. Pete's. They're going in February, but they're renting a condo or something. Port St. Lucie two family. That's on the other side. Yeah, I don't. I've never been to. So the only time I've been to Florida myself. Well, I went to Miami because we took a cruise. Like, but we didn't really. We checked out Miami Airport and went to Orlando when we did Disney. But again, we didn't do any of that. Sure, you and Daryl have to come visit if you are coming all the way to Canada. You may stay in my fiefdom. Well, yeah. So only thing is that Howie Food Forest Permaculture is in BC, which is like 3 days drive from Ontario. I'll tell them to look me up. I'm only a hop, skip, and jump from St. Pete. True now that they have a camper, we plan on traveling. Awesome! Well, there's lots of campsites near where I live. Like there's KOA campsites, as well as like a lot of provincial parks. Like right near me, there's Fitzroy Harbor Provincial Park. It's like 30 minutes away. Um, and the water's nice and clean there. And they have a little store that does sell ice cream. Sorry, I'm busy. Just want. Hi, Tom. Tom. Well, thank you very much for popping in. Yeah, you're 5,000 miles from me. So yeah, you could do a tour. So I know you could spend the whole summer just touring. I would definitely meet up with you for lunch or coffee. Just message me whenever. If anybody here or wherever is in Ottawa area, message me that you're when you're coming into town, and I'll make sure to meet up for coffee or tea or lunch or ice cream, depending on the season, or a beaver tail, which is not beaver tail. It's just dough. It's not. Don't get scared. Yes, Smudge will be traveling with us. Can you just imagine the guys at the border wondering why we have a horse? Oh, you have a horse? Okay, is a hitchhike across Canada once. Maybe I'll do that again and come and see you, Howie. Oh, that would be cool. That would be cool video. I can show you around, and you may not go home unless because this place is. Well, Howie, your videos do look like I'm like. I mean, I wish you guys. I wish everybody here lived closer to me. Because see, that's the thing is that people that pop on here, I really have a good connection with. Like, we'd be awesome friends if we lived closer. You know, like just having similar likes, dislikes, similar interests, similar just understanding. You know. Yeah, I was gonna say, isn't he the dog? I was gonna say he's not a horse. Ah, yes. Well, as long as you have your papers, um, for your service dog, and he's up to date with the vaccinations and stuff, shouldn't be an issue. My in-laws have guide dogs, and they travel all the time. Well, this time, well, right now they have new guide dogs because their old ones, they retired and then they recently passed. So anyway, was 4 years ago, and it was in your survey. My in-laws went to Israel by themselves with their guide dogs back in the 90s. It was definitely an interesting experience, with a service dog, and they went and checked out all Israel, which was kind of interesting since my mother-in-law's Catholic, but hasn't really done church for a while. My father-in-law is not really religious. I was watching the Sens play the Lightning on TV. Yes, well, Florida, Greg, you should come to Ottawa and check out the Sens in person. I live literally like 10-minute drive from where the Sens play. We could do supper, do lunch, have a dog. I'd feel safer. Why can't you have a dog? Fire horse, because I'm sure with your different, depending on your disability, you can access a service dog for for it. Happy Trails is on a 10-minute, so you'll tube. Sorry, but I have to engagement. Okay, well, bye, Howie. Thanks for popping by. Mwah. I was there in '70 for the summer, then back in for a year. met my ex and brought the schmuck. Well, my in-laws went there for a vacation. They did go see the Wailing Wall, which was it was kind of interesting because my father-in-law doesn't do like church stuff. Because I mean, so this is the thing: when you have a disability, so my mother-in-law was very stout Catholic. Her parent family French Canadian Catholic, and kept on getting like trying to get her seen by the popes and getting try all these like prayers and Hail Marys or whatever type stuff that always try to get healings, and that didn't work or whatever. And sometimes the answer from God is no. Sometimes it's yes, no, maybe later or whatever. But so she also been, I guess, hurt from like also the school, the blind school in Montreal was run by nuns. They're and the nuns and my father's in law school was run by nuns too, I believe. And the nuns were not always very nice. They weren't necessarily evil, but she said I wasn't a good candidate for adoption. Discrimination in my area in housing aren't allowed. So are you on subsidized housing? Then you're not a pet. I bypass the church stuff and go right to source. Well, exactly. So my mother-in-law still is Catholic and still, believes in stuff. She doesn't go to church because I think at some point people, so again, same with myself. It took me a long time to go back to church because in the past there's been a lot of people who have said that they were Christians or whatever, but then they didn't act very Christian like. And I think that's the thing. That's why my husband doesn't go to church with me. I go to church. My kids go to church. My kids now they come to the building, but don't kind of sit with me. They go downstairs to the youth room and stuff like that. Anyways, but I get them to the building. That's that's all I can do, right? Um, but when people have hurt you in the past that have said that they were Christians, that really turns a lot of people away. And well, saying or whatever religion, it turns them away. So I think that's what happened with them. That they're okay with the like talking about Christian. Like my mother-in-law still puts out a nativity scene at Christmas time, and does still pray and all that stuff. She just doesn't go to any particular church because also when you have a disability, you get a lot of people coming up to you with the pity, the pity looks, the pity um, things, and the whole "I'll pray for you" or you know, or she all that stuff. So she doesn't want that. They both two people with disabilities that have raised a family, you know, go on vacation by themselves. They don't need anybody's pity. They just need somebody to sometimes look at a map and tell them where they're going. I'm I'm in county housing and it's hell, but better than being home. True. First, do you have a disability where you would need a service? Could you use that around? I'm sure they would. So this is the thing. So if you have a disability, depending on your disability, like I have a friend who has post traumatic stress and anxiety. She has a service dog. It has to be from a specific, there's different organizations that have service dogs for different disabilities. You can access that. The only thing is, so a lot of people that have a disability are on ODSP, is you are responsible for the care and upkeep of the animal. So it doesn't cost you to get the animal. Um, but the training for the animal, for example, for a guide dog for the blind, right? It costs each dog costs about $20,000 to $30,000 in training and stuff to dog. The dog is given to you for free, but you are responsible for feeding it and getting it shots and taking it to the vet and stuff like that. So you have to, and I know that some people that are on disability, like disability, for example, they're blind, they have a CNIB dog. They have set up a GoFundMe account for friends and family that could donate to help pay for the upkeep and stuff like that because they need the dog for their life, but and then also places like March of Dimes um, will cover. You can always access them to, or ask to access them to try and cover some of the things like that. And by law, landlords can't tell you. Um, Especially they can't if you have a service dog. For a pet, they might, but not for a service dog. To get service dogs for kids, yes, but um, those GoFundMe accounts have gotten. Oh, I know. Well, exactly. That's why I try not to. So the only GoFundMe account that I've ever done was for a friend of mine. So she herself doesn't have insurance because she works a part-time job and she can't get on ODSP because her ex-husband's uh, pays support payments for the kids as well as um, what's it called when you're married, the support parent payment for the wife, the ex-wife. So they say she makes too much, but it's like no, it's like the support payments for the kid as well as her, and she still has to work a part-time job just to pay the mortgage. Housing that says we can't have pets. It's the SB. Okay. Well, that's when you can go. You can try and go. Well, that's when you can go through other sources. Like there's usually cat and dog rescues. There's always friends that seem to have a pet that gets knocked up. I mean, that's how I got my cats. I didn't get them from the SPCA. ODSP is Ontario Disability Support Program. So if you live in Ontario, so if you're in another province, Quebec has their own Quebec disability support program. I don't know if that's the letters, but each province has their own, and child support. But there's one. So when you're divorced, so sometimes you can get payment for child support, but then also since your wife say took time off work and took care of the kids, there's matrimony support or alimony support. No, you keep child support. Yes, but not alimony. So she got okay because she was so this was the thing was she couldn't get on ODSP since she has a disability. So she has a first ADHD, B she has this disability this arthritis and this disability where her I can't remember what it's called, but basically her body does not know when to stop stretching. So she could easily stretch and like do the splits or whatever, and she injures herself, but her body doesn't stop. Like, she easily it's like she twists her ankle and breaks her foot and sprains her ankle, wrists all the time. And she has arthritis too. Not support for the wife. Well, thanks very much to Family Homestead. Share if that's you in there, for popping by, and thanks again. I really enjoyed having you here. I think that's it. She has something. I think it starts with an E. I can't remember what it's called, but some of the meds that she's on. So she has a prescription for um, marijuana or whatever that helps a bit, but she can't. The thing is, she doesn't take it in the morning. She takes it when she's at home. So I think that the one where you bend, and she has like excruciating pain from that type of stuff. Um, so I know that she has a prescription for that, and that helps. But but she doesn't trust it. You know, to take it before like she drives to work or whatever type thing. So she has to pain manage with over the counter stuff, or sometimes she has a prescription for something else, but it's not that effective. I think me and my daughter. Yeah. Um, I don't know. I'll have to ask her. I think I'm supposed to be seeing her today. I'll ask her what it's called. Um, and if she sees a specialist or if she just sees her normal doctor for it. Hi, Josh Eldridge. How's it going? Hopefully you grabbed a coffee. Can I drive without my meds? My body gets all cramped. Awesome. Well, I'm on my first cup, but my cup's really big. Hey Google, what time is it?
The time is 11:03.
Very cool. So this weekend here in Kanata, we have the Santa Claus parade. I'm so used to the meds. Well, see, I think that's kind of like she tries not to take the med. Like she tries to. Well, it costs, right? So she doesn't have insurance, so she has to pay for the meds herself, and her and she has to pay for the meds for her son, and they get quite expensive. I think she does get Trillium, but Trillium doesn't cover some of it. Like she qualifies for that, but not ODSP. It's like I'll tell her to go check it out that she might be able to get because now her husband's not paying. Her ex husband lost his job, so he hasn't been paying the last couple months. So I'm like, well, she should apply now. Um, he still pays the child support part, but not the other part, or not even that. Messed me up so bad. I can't drive, so I only take the low dose at night. Ah, yes. Well, that's the thing is that why she takes only her meds or whatever at night. Apply it right away before Doug baby changes it back. Ugh, yes. I am so not impressed with. I mean, he hasn't done anything helpful. If anything, he's just done stuff to make situations for people who need assistance worse. And that's not where. If anything, he should be taxing the rich. There should be a maximum wage, so that the CEOs and all that stuff aren't making hundreds and thousands of dollars. Like they can make a couple $100,000, but do you really need to make $1 million a year? No, you don't. There should be a maximum wage. Forget about this minimum wage crap. And everybody should have a livable income. But that's just um, my opinion. So, Josh, what are you doing today? So, an iron horse. What's I keep on forgetting your first name. Um, hey, teasers, pleasers, how's it going? It's all game playing. They're still pounding on. Yeah, so that's the thing is like it's like she wasn't perfect, but at least the things that she did do was things that tried to help the people that needed help. Like, awesome. It's 40 days till Christmas. And it's freaking cold today. So, Iron Fire Horse, what's your first name? Irene. Okay. So I keep on forgetting. I know you've said it before, but I'm really bad at remembering. And teasers, pleasers. What's your first name? Tina. Okay. I wrote down. Not that I will remember where this piece of paper is next time, but I will hopefully remember it. See, I eventually like. I mean, I remember Howie's and 50 Chickens in the Hen House, which is Alex and that. But cold. It's is really cold. It's -7 here. It's -8 here. Daughter's in the snowbank about an hour away from here without a winter coat, so I need to go take her one. Ouch. We don't even have snowbanks yet. So I mean, we had some snow, but we didn't have any. There's not enough for a snowbank. It's -8 here with a high of -3. But today there's not the wind chill. Yesterday was -9 with a wind chill that made it feel like -18. That was freezing. I came home. I had to take a hot. Well, after so I came home and then I had to go end up picking up Abby. So after I picked up Abby and I picked up the recycling bins because it was garbage day, then I took a hot bath before. So I had supper already and I took a hot bath. She's at Blue Mountain. Hey Google, where's Blue Mountain?
The address for Blue Mountain Resort is 108 Jozo Weeder Boulevard, the Blue Mountains, Ontario, L9Y3Z2.
It's colder and more snow. Ah, what does she do there? Yeah, Florida Greg, send some of that heat this way. We've had snow. We've had snow twice. We had snow before Halloween, and then it melted before Halloween. Then we had snow Friday when I took Rowan to her doctor's appointment. It hasn't melted like some has melted, but we only got like about like half an inch. Um, and it's it sort of melted, but we haven't had snow since I think it was Sunday. We had a bit of the last of the snow. Guys, we can. Yes, so I'm looking forward to the winter to be canning more broth and stuff like that because canning in the summertime was hard. I did some canning, but a lot of my stuff I end up it just gets too tiring. If you're processing and canning and harvesting and so I don't have a farm, so but it's more of like getting the ingredients. So usually I froze stuff instead of canned it in the summer. Plus it's too freaking hot. With the wintertime, canning in the wintertime actually saves on heat. So yesterday I had to turn the heat on again. So I had it off all week, but yesterday it went down to 15 degrees in the house, so I turned it back on. Well, I'm sure the snow will get down there. This whole climate change. She lives in Collingworks and works there. Okay, I think Greg should share some of that warmth from the Sunshine State. Yes. Well, you are more than welcome to come here. If you come up here to Ottawa, I'll have coffee and do lunch with you. It costs too much to can if you can't. Um, yes and no. So, certain things, for example, tomatoes, I was able to get cases of tomatoes, like a bushel, half a bushel of tomatoes for under $8. I think it was normally 9.98, and I price matched them to 7.99. So canning those made it cheaper. So, 'cause I already have the jars. I only had to need new lids and the tomatoes. So, 9 bucks. I made like 12 or 14 liters. of tomatoes per half bushel. So it was cheaper than purchasing tomatoes. But see, the things that I tend to grow, I don't have really lots of room for. But the things I grow are more herbs and stuff. And I did grow some kohlrabi. No, not kohlrabi. Daikon, which is an Asian vegetable to make kimchi. That's what. Like when I'm done growing, I'm 6 foot tall. Cost and energy and physical pain plus dangerous. Yes, canning I do is buying chefware D at Walmart. Yes, well, exactly. So that's the thing. If I'm going to do canning, I'm going to have my canner out, and I'm going to do a bunch of canning over a few days. Because that darn thing is heavy, and it's just a lot of work to get that stuff out. So I tend to do more. So what I do in the wintertime is can meat and can broth and can soups and can vegetables that need pressure canning. And I will make some more jams because I have a bunch of frozen fruit that I had from the summertime, and I'll make those. Hot spaghettios with hot dogs. That's haute cuisine. Yeah. Better go. It's supposed to snow more this after, and my windshield wipers are messed up. Hopefully, you have snow tires on, or all season. I think it's all season. I don't know. I don't drive, but I've I live like right across from the Queensway. Like I could see it in the wintertime. I could see the Queensway because the leaves are gone. And we hear it more in the wintertime if we're outside. But you hear sirens and stuff like that, and lots of accidents when people are going 100 kilometers an hour. Well, have a great day, Iron Fire Horse. I'll send you an email and chat with you. Why is my Yes, so for example, when I use my pressure canner to make broth, it is so much. I mean, it costs nothing. It literally costs $1 for the lids because I'm using bones and vegetable scraps and water and jars I already have. So it cost me $1, and I make like 14 liters. While at the store, the cheapest I can get it is usually $1.50 for a liter or 900 mils or whatever. Well, so if you can save up or ask um, people for Christmas or that, they supposedly are supposed to go on sale after on for Black Friday. Also, I love my instant pot too, but you don't have to necessarily have an instant pot. So did you know the instant pot is made here in Ottawa? Actually, it's made in Canada. Their address is just in Canada. I saw. I'm like, woohoo! I don't know where they are, but I saw when I got mine. I'm like, hey, that's in Canada. Use my reusable Tatler lids. So, okay, I got some for Christmas last year. I have not used them yet. I'm hoping to use them this year. I got some for Christmas. I got some canning jars, some Tatler lids, the small and the big ones, and I got my Pullman bread pan. I have to make bread with that. I haven't touched that. I've been bad. Because it's almost Christmas again. I've been scared to kind of use, but I also didn't do. I did lots of canning last year. This year, I didn't do too much canning. I did a lot of drying. I kind of going through cycles of dehydrating and canning and just cooking. I've been doing more just freezer meals and stuff, and using what I already canned. Well, no, I did not know that. Yeah, so with the instant, yeah, it's in Canada. So, but there's also another other brands, other electric pressure cookers that are just as good as Instant Pot, like Consorti or whatever is good. A lot of people I follow have one or both, or and then there's another one. So the recipes that if you do find, and honestly, I haven't even been looking much at recipes. I've just been doing what I normally do, and just press the meat or stew or whatever button, and it turns out great. As long as there's a cup of liquid in there, it's all good. Like I made a beef stew last week, was wonderful. My family apparently hates beef stew. Everybody ate some, but they don't like beef stew. I'm like, seriously? My family, if there was ever a zombie apocalypse, my family would die. I would survive. They'd all die because they'd be all too picky. I don't like beef stew. Well, I knew my husband doesn't necessarily like stew or soups because he doesn't like his vegetable. He doesn't like things like a roast with the vegetables underneath because he doesn't want his vegetables tasting like the meat. I'm like, I'm sorry. I love my vegetables tasting like meat. It makes me want to eat them. There's a Nes. Okay, Nesco. That was the other because there was another. There was like three really good brands. Just Instant Pot kind of has a better name. It's actually it's kind of like Xerox. So for a photocopy machine, there's one company called Xerox. All the rest of them are not called Xerox. But oh, I'm going to Xerox this. Same with Kleenex. Kleenex as a brand name is uh, a brand, but if you look at other, they're all called facial tissues. But I say I'm going to get Kleenex. I don't usually buy Kleenex. There's Scotty's. There's the store brand. I know my family's crazy. I like recipes and then say unwrap, then microwave for 2 minutes. So Florida Greg, get yourself an instant pot, okay? Put ingredients in. At like those dump recipes, turn it on. Anything you could do in a crock pot, you could do in an instant pot in 30 minutes cooking time. So, and then the pressure coming down. So within 45 minutes to an hour, you've got supper on the table, even from frozen. So this is what I love to do. This is what I absolutely love to do. Take take my meat, my vegetables, my seasonings or whatever. I don't usually put the liquid in it because my bag gets too full and then freezing it sometimes bursts and stuff. But all the other stuff, freeze it. Sometimes I try to do it flat to fit more space in, but sometimes I'll freeze it in a container that will fit in the instant hot. So put the bag in here so it freezes in this square container. Let's say freeze it, take it out of the square container like you have it in the, and then you take it out of that container, like take your instant pot, put it in there, put a cup of liquid, broth, tomatoes, whatever. Turn it on, press the stew button or the meat button or pressure cook for 30 minutes high, any of those, and you say bye-bye. And then in 45 minutes, you'll hear it coming down. You get beeps at 30 minutes, and then about 45 minutes. It takes about 15 minutes or so for the pressure to come down. You have food. And your meat is not dry like in a crock pot. It is pressure, like when you open up the canned chunky soup, all those things you could put in your instant pot. Now, if you want to thicken it, you could add cornstarch and water. Or what I did with my beef stew, which turned out wonderful, is the instant mashed potatoes. I used a bit of that to thicken up my stew. Mwah. OMG, it was awesome. But apparently, my family doesn't like stew. Abby likes soup, but not apparently so. Well, you don't have actually a cook, like, but that's one pot, okay? But then you have a meal that you can take the container and put in the freezer, and then you microwave for 2 minutes. You cook once, and you could freeze the rest. Like I, because I'm sure it'd be so much cheaper, and you can make things like pasta. So okay, look at my channel under Instant Pot recipes. The macaroni and cheese in the Instant Pot is done in like 30 minutes, and is the cheesiest, best pasta on the face of the earth. Well, next to my baked macaroni and cheese, which I also have a recipe on that too. That goes in the oven. But my Instant Pot, oh, and the rice pudding to die for. Like, is the best thing. Great for breakfast, great for dessert, great to not share with my family because it's so darn good. Oh, ribs. Ribs in my Instant Pot. The best. Now I do I cook them in the Instant Pot, and then I do finish them off in the oven with some put some barbecue sauce on, just so that you get the nice crispy bits. But literally in the oven for on broil or on high, like like 400 degrees, 450 for like 5 minutes, maybe 10, and it is the best. Yes, I buy Chef Boyardee for my husband too. When it's on sale, I tell him when it's on sale for $1 or less a can, I'll buy it for him because sometimes he's hungry. So sometimes, so the downside with my Instant Pot is that 6 liters. Okay, so meals that I fit in my Instant Pot. So it's 6 liters total, but you can really only do about 4 or 5. So depending on the meal, if it's something that he's not necessarily like, so my Instant Pot, there's not usually a lot of leftovers. There's usually like 1 or 2 servings. When I do a soup in my big pot, which is 16 liters, we have soup for like 4 meals. Okay, because it's 16 liters. I mean, like, come on. I don't usually fill it up all the way to 16 liters, but I could. So sometimes, like he for supper, because he eats fairly light lunch at work, and sometimes he'll have a bigger lunch. But he comes home, he wants seconds, so he will have that. And I always have Chef Boyardee in the cupboard for if he wants seconds, and there's no seconds because I actually made a meal that other people wanted seconds too, or there's not enough for thirds, or not enough seconds to be a full second. He can have Chef Boyardee too. Or if he doesn't like the meal. Because that also happens sometimes. Sometimes I do a meal that I think he'll love, and he doesn't. So there's Chef Boyardee. 1 minute paper plate. I, I put in a bowl. Paper plate would get all floppy. I don't microwave paper plates. Even I buy the good Chinette paper plates when they're on sale at Costco because they end up being cheaper uh, for things. That's what I did with all Thanksgiving fish. Awesome! Now that's good home cooking in my house. you have like 88 cents a can at Walmart. Not well. Up here, it's the cheapest I can usually get for 99 cents or $1. That's usually $1.25 on sale. Sometimes it's more. It's not. Things are more expensive here. Well, no. Hopefully, do you have any family in the area? Like, I hope you don't have to spend a Thanksgiving by yourself. That would be a shame. You should check out uh any community dinners or that. Not that you need to go, but there might be some that you can get a ticket that you could just be sociable with other people, or have like a turkey meal. Like you can go to a Swiss Chalet here in Canada and get a turkey dinner at Swiss Chalet, and then it's uh, it's still a turkey dinner, and you don't have to cook a turkey. And you can get like roasts already, like just with the breast already stuffed, and you just put it in the oven, and you don't have to actually do anything. I don't use dishes this way. I don't have to wash it. Okay. But the paper plates might get more expensive than washing them. No family. Oh. What about friends? Because I know a lot of my friends, they're far away from their family. They're like there's no way that they can go and visit them for Christmas and Thanksgiving. They go and visit like for vacation. Like usually people won't go visiting for Christmas when they have family far away here in Canada because A, the weather is bad to travel, and B, sometimes wherever you're going, like I have friends who do sometimes go visit in Newfoundland to their family. They actually get stuck there for like a week longer because the ferry isn't going or the planes aren't leaving, you know? Um so they tend to go visit during the summertime and then they tend to stay at home for Christmas and Thanksgiving and just do their own individual thing. And they'll have friends come over, usually other single friends or friends that don't have family around, and do a friendsgiving. But for many years. Well, Greg, do you have any friends? I mean, that's kind of sad. If you were here, I'd invite you over here for Thanksgiving. You'd have. I don't want to be sociable. Oh, that's sad. No, I'm not like. I mean, that just. See, at the holidays, I think that you should be surrounded by people either you're related to or people you like. They're not always the same thing. Aw, Greg, I'm sure you have friends or at least acquaintances. I know. So, for example, I have this discussion with Abby of how she doesn't have a lot of friends, but she doesn't want a lot of friends. She has a couple of friends, and some friends are not necessarily here, right? And I'm like, well, what about people in your class? And she goes, well, they're acquaintances or they're classmates. They're not. And I'm like, well, they could be friends if you spent the time and actually made an effort to socialize. My best friend is my TV. Have a great day, everyone. Good to see you. Well, bye, Rosie, Puppy's Breath. I'm so happy to see you, and I'm so glad that you are safe. And I pray that all the air quality in your area gets better, and that you continue to stay safe. So you have alligators at the city park? They're actually at the park? It's sad. It must be just lonely. Yeah, but you might be used to it. But like, are you an ex-vet or anything? Like, there's like whatever you work wise, there's sometimes groups to like a legion. Like so if you're a vet or you were in the military, you can go to the legion. Um, Rosie. But or if there's groups like if you are a fireman, I'm kind of aloof anyways. Hey, Stinkbait, how's it going? Well, you are very sociable here, Florida Greg. But I guess it's some. I have as I said, I seem to make a lot of friends that are kind of like either socially awkward or uh, um, not too sociable. Alligators are everywhere. Well, when we were on the cruise, we were in Miami, and it stopped. We did there was a tour that we did. We went on the boat with the fans, and we got to see them feed alligators, and got to hold and pet a baby alligator. It didn't have a thingy on its mouth though. Um, I have pictures somewhere of my husband and my kids. I don't know if I know Abby held it. I'm not sure if Rowan did. No vet. I'm retired and an old stick in the mud. But do you have any hobbies? Well, you don't seem to be an old stick in the mud. You're very sociable here. Have too many pets to be worried the gators would get. Yeah, we don't have gators up here. Well, up here the scary things we have bears, we have cougars, We have lynx, we have coyotes and wolves, raccoons. The raccoons can get in, and skunks and porcupines. But near me, the biggest animals around here are usually the raccoons, porcupines, rabbits, coyotes. There has been a bear. There's been a couple moose, but nothing. You have to be more in the country to see those type of things. Oh, and deer. Oh, and turkeys. Turkeys went through the. I have video pictures of the turkeys going through the drive-through. Have to be careful with small pets. Yeah, see, I have two cats, but they stay inside. Yikes. Hey, Google. What time is it?
It's 11:33.
Okay. Well, in about 10 minutes, I'm going to have to go because I have something at noon. The gators have been known to grab them. Ah, yes. Well, there was that scary thing. Did the kid die at the Disney resorts where the gator grabbed a kid? But I don't know. Did the kid die or just was injured? I think he died. Because I walk to the park, watch TV, chat on here, and occasionally I make a video. Fight the gator if it went after one of my babies. Well, yes. That was a couple of years ago. The one of the Disney resort. That'd be scary. Yeah, but here there's nothing. Like we have wild animals, but they're out in the country or like in the forest on the path. Like if you're on the paths and stuff, like you probably see them more. Not so much in the city or the towns. They do sometimes come. We have raccoons, squirrels, porcupines, skunks, rabbits. That's what a lady and she was killed by one last. Ouch. Yikes. Yeah, but okay, Greg. I'm sorry. The people in Florida, the stuff that we hear from the news. Okay, so have you guys ever heard of the podcast Weird AF News? Every Friday, he does a podcast on the weird stuff in the news, and it's always in Florida. It's all like he doesn't have to search very far for weird stuff in Florida because there's all these major crazy things happen in Florida. Why? Like you hear this as well in other states too, but there's just so much. Like on a weekly basis, he can find enough information that week of crazy stuff that happens in Florida. Oh yes, me too. So my computer was up and running, but now I think hopefully I didn't break it, but I shorted it by trying to plug my phone into it. I think I have to figure out how to reset it. I don't know what I did. I'm just going to take a battery and plug it back in. There. That might. Maybe that will reset. Oh yay! I did. Can you hunt Gallagher? Is there? So, there's a place up here, a restaurant that sells gator meat. That kid was at a Disney resort and waded into the water where there was a "Do not enter" sign. Yeah, he died. Okay. Florida. Yes. So weird AF news. Hey Google, play weird AF news.
Here's the latest news. From Anchor Weird AF News at 11:59 a.m. yesterday.
Yeah, this guy.
Jonesy, yo, it's Desert Fox. I had to pause the episode and say, yo, I I didn't know. I
Hey Google, stop. So yeah, it's Jonesy at Weird AF News. He is hilarious. Teasers. Actually, there is for like a month, but not in certain areas. Oops. There, my computer turned on. Yay. Like not in my county. What if so I know that you guys have like weird gun laws and stuff like that. So what if an alligator was on your property going after your animals? Are you allowed to shoot it? Like here in Canada, if there's a predator on your property, you're allowed to shoot it. I'm pretty sure. Even though it's not that season to hunt. Hey, Amanda. Okay, so you can keep them in check on your property during hunting season, as we do with bear up here. So here, did you hear about the woman and kid who sailed from the beach in a boat? Um, no, but it doesn't surprise me. It was on the news a couple days ago. They had to call 911 from shore. Well, as I said, there's so much weird news from Florida. Like, and it's just from Florida. Yes, that's weird news. That's for sure. Our weirdest news. We just had a news article yesterday on the news talking about how for Toronto. Okay, so with Toronto being, they've had a lot of gun violence this year. Like over the past couple of years, it was low, but then recently there's been a lot of gun violence. I think some of your guns have come up here, and they have more of gangs because they're much bigger. They're like one of your big American cities, you know. But they just had their 89th homicide or with gun violence or whatever there, and the police and everything are saying about cracking down on the gun violence because it's the most that they've had since 1991. Um, and that's from our biggest city. It has um, A9 gun violence, and we're call we're like saying that's an issue. Well, some of your state, I think it was in the states. There's like 100 or more shootings per day in all of your different states there. Algaria, yeah, might get in trouble. Now shooting another human down here. That exactly. I know it's so crazy. Like the Russian dude's building a school bus out of boxes to go onto the highway. Well, there's this race here. There's a race, not a race. Yeah, I guess it's a race here in Canada in near here, not necessarily near all, but I've heard people go to it. That you go down this river with your blow up things. Like it's a 1 day thing that 1 year they had to cancel because they were all traveling. Um, it was bad weather or whatever. The water was too high and people were going too fast and people were getting injured. There was something near here, like about an hour's away, of people going down the river in blow up things, but they would get all drunk first and then go down the river, which was never a good idea. We do have a stand your ground law. Good morning. First, hey, make it enough. How's it going? My channel is when I do live streams. It's whatever you guys are chatting about, and I chat with you guys and share my opinions. And I'm in Canada. I live in Kanata. That's why my name is Jenn in Kanata, because my name is Jenn, and I live in Kanata, which is the west end suburb of Ottawa, Ontario, Canada. Nice to have you here. Welcome. So, whereabouts are you in this wonderful world of ours? You're in California. Cool. One of my other subscribers, she's not here right now. Her name is M Puppy's Breath. She's also in California. Are you affected by the fires? She's affected by the smoke so far. It's the fires where she is about 200 miles away from where she is, but um, that's not too far. Oh, well, I just subscribed to you. Make it enough. You seem to be a woman after my own heart there with the frugal meals on a budget. My kind of ideas. I'll have to check you out. Yeah. Welcome to the jungle. Okay, now I have got the song in my head, Guns N' Roses. Welcome to the jungle. Na, 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 na. I don't know all the words because actually the words I know are probably not the right words. Air quality is really bad. Thankfully, weren't directly affected by the fires. Oh, good. Yeah, that's what she was saying, that the air quality was bad. There was lots of smoke, and I asked if she had like those masks that you can get for breathing if you have to go outside. Yes, thank God you're safe. Because that's the news that we get up here in Canada. We get the weird news. As I was just saying to Florida Greg, we got a lot of weird news from Florida up here of crazy. We get your mass shootings, which seem to be like almost every day in some place in the states, and we get the fires, and then we get your political stuff mainly. Oh, no problem. We like to share the love here. Feel free to support one another, and everybody is welcome here. As long as everybody is nice to one another, you're all good. Well, what's interesting, one of my friends was talking about a conspiracy theory about the California fires. I'm just gonna go check their thing, and I'm like, but he's also just he's one of those conspiracy theory people. Um, there we go. He said that the fires were going down the same thing as some sort of pipeline, the proposed pipeline. It was a coincidence, or not a coincidence. I'm just gonna share. Look here. Try to see if I can find it. He shared something, and I was like, "Oh, what's that?" If I can find that information, I can find it. Oh, oh. Oh yeah. So the California High Speed Rail. Got flip, yeah. That was the rail system goes right down there. That's the proposed thing, and then that's where the California wildfires. And then so he's like, coincidence? He's a little bit of a conspiracy theorist, but it doesn't look good. And they are awful. They look awful. They're taking out houses and people. And I'm just surprised there's only like 100. I think there's 100 deaths so far, but there's still about 100 people missing. That's not a lot of people for the amount of devastation that you see. That's just like, wow. Please stay safe. Well, that's what his idea was, that people were setting them um, in response to that proposed highway. So if there's no houses there, they could sell the property for cheaper or whatever. Like, I don't know. There's a little bit of conspiracy theory, which is just awful. Might have some truth in it if there's proposed arsonists, but I mean, people could just be arsonists and just doing it for no other reason other than being arsonists. So that's but he has a few other conspiracy theories. As I said, he's a friend of mine that has some few conspiracy theories. High speed rail system, potential phasing. Yeah. But, well, I've got to get going. No, he doesn't have a channel. He's just a friend on my Facebook. Um, he's just he's a very interesting person. We have similar ideas on some things, and other things were completely different. So I just take it as it is, right? But I'm sure there's other people that have that as an idea. No, my friend has just messaged me that she was on her way. So I've got to get going. Do they ever try and dump the retardant from the planes just when it's dry? See, yeah, I would think that they would try and do that. Like here in Canada, they do a lot of that before when things are dry. They do a lot of stuff because fires happen here. It's just like in California, but we have less people, so there's more just natural disasters. You have a great day. Um, I will hopefully have a video up this weekend, and I'm going to be getting together with Angie Nicholas on Monday morning, as long as she's well and I'm well. Um, So hopefully I'll do another live stream. I'll probably do a live stream tomorrow. That's good. It's not the weekend yet, but I'll probably do a live stream tomorrow afternoon if I'm available. But it's been wonderfully chatting with you. I'm now subscribed to you, so don't forget to give a thumbs up and check everybody out. I think everybody here has a channel too. So have a great day and lots of love from Canada, from Jenn and Kanata. Bye.